What's up? Today I'm making some music inspired by one of my all-time favorite video game series, Silent Hill. So I went back and listened to a lot of the soundtracks from the games, and the music ranges anywhere from that very distinct horror ambient to almost like down-tempo and trip-hop. And if you want to pick up this project file, it will be on my Ko-fi, and if you want to stream this, it is on all the major streaming platforms as well. So let's go ahead and jump into Ableton. So a lot of the sounds that you hear in the Silent Hill soundtracks comes from samples and putting things into a sampler. And it's a very different vibe than like creating a synth patch and playing even the same chords, because the sampler will change the pitch, it will kind of add these little artifacts in there, and it all adds to this ambience. So I'm going to start by creating a really simple patch using Wavetable, and then I'm going to bounce that, and we're going to use it to make that kind of very distinct Silent Hill pad. So I'm going to start by grabbing Wavetable, and you can use any synth that has two saw waves, it doesn't really matter. I just find Wavetable really easy to use, so I use it like all the time. So I just have two saw waves set here, and I'm going to change this amplitude envelope just a little bit, kind of like a pad. And then I'm going to grab Ableton's chorus. So I'm going to go ahead and type chorus in the search bar. There we go. And I'm going to up this just a little bit, and the amount too. And I'm also going to grab an instance of Roar. And there's a really good preset here. I think it's the VHS somewhere here. There we go. And that's a little crispy, so I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit. Go a long way here. And I'm going to just draw in a 9th chord. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-M to create that MIDI clip. And it really doesn't matter what chord, because I'm going to be putting it into a sampler and shifting it around. But I'm just going to start with, let's do a D sharp 9th. And then I'm just going to hit legato to make it 1 bar long, just like that. And I'm going to bounce it. So now that I bounced that, I want to put it onto another MIDI track. So I'm just going to click on this one, and I'm going to grab this and drop it right on the MIDI track, and it'll put it into a sampler for me. And I want to change this to a sampler. So I'm going to right click on this blue bar here and go simpler to sampler. So I'm going to pull this back, and I'm going to loop just this beginning part. So I'll change the sustain mode to looping, and I'm going to drag this in. And I'll go ahead and add a bit of crossfade too, and what that'll do, just make it so every time it hits back and forth, it gives it a little bit of a buffer, and it shouldn't create any weird clicks or pops. So I'm going to come in here and grab an EQ8, and I'm just going to use that to cut off most of the lows here. And then an auto filter, and let's see, we'll put that on here. And we're going to drag this back. And you're kind of starting to get that Silent Hill vibe. And I'm also going to add Valhalla's Supermassive. And I love the C-Beams preset here, so I'm going to grab that. Put the cutoff a little bit higher, and then maybe take the mix down a little bit. And then I also just want to come in here to the filter and global section and change this attack a little bit, soften it up just a little bit. So another cool thing that happens when you put a chord into a sampler is that we're just shifting a minor 9 chord up and down the piano. So we're not worried about key, we're not worried about major, minor chords. It's just going to be a minor chord no matter what key you play it from. And playing a C in the sampler will play back the original chord, which was a D sharp minor 9. So if I move that up 7 semitones, it becomes a B flat minor. And these two notes sound good together because they're both in the B flat minor scale, so they sound like they belong together. But this one is actually an F sharp minor 9, which is not in the B flat minor scale. And by playing this, you're getting what's called a non-diatonic chord, and it feels wrong. Like it doesn't feel like it belongs with this, but it actually becomes part of the vibe, part of the aesthetic, and it creates that tension before it comes back to that root note of the B flat. So next I want to add in some drums, and I'm going to use Addictive Drums 2 for this because I really want that kind of live feel. And it's okay if you don't have Addictive Drums 2. I'm going to bounce this all out to audio anyway. So I'm just going to use the Fairfax Volume 2. So it's just a really simple pattern with just a kick, the snare, and the ride cymbal. And I want to add some processing to this to make it sound a little bit more gritty and kind of industrial sounding. So I'm going to pop this open. I have this rack that I created. And so I'm just adding the amp. And it's giving it that really, really distorted sound. Very crackly too. And then I have the cabinet on here. It's giving it kind of that nice, like muffled, like we're in like a soundproof room almost. And then some EQ. Just cutting out a lot. So a lot of the lows, a lot of the highs, and really dipping those mids. And then some compression. And I know Addictive Drums 2 has a way to route things out, but I'm too lazy to figure that out. So Ableton's Balance in Place is easy enough. I'm just going to hit 0 on each of the individual things here. So I'm just going to bounce the kick, the snare, and the cymbals to separate tracks. So I just went ahead and threw all of those bounced tracks into a group and just added a little bit more compression on there. So next I want to add my main melody. A lot of the Silent Hill tracks have piano. And so I grabbed this electric preset, the E-Piano face plant, and I'm just adding a little bit of processing, so some saturation, make it a little bit louder and grittier. I'm using the vibrato just for a tiny bit of pitch wobble redux, which is cutting off a lot of those harsher highs. And then I'm using Supermassive, again on the C-Beams preset, and it just gives it that really beautiful ambience. So you're going to have all of that kind of lushness trailing off, and it's just going to add to kind of that ambient vibe as well. So just looking at these notes, we can see that it's following along pretty much exactly with the chords. So I'm just playing kind of an arpeggiated version of the B flat minor chord. Same with the E flat chord here, back to the B flat. And then again, following that F sharp minor, which is not in the scale, but just playing along with it so that everything fits together. All right, next I want to add in a bass, and I want to go back to that idea of using samples. So I loaded Analog Lab here and found this guitar sound. And what I'm going to do is just grab the lowest C that's mapped here, which is this one. So I'm just going to put that into MIDI and then bounce it out to audio and then put that one shot into a simpler. That also means we can play this even lower, which is closer to the bass range anyway. And then I'm just going to add a saturator on there and an EQ8 as well. So let's see. I'm going to change this to the bass shaper. And then let's go ahead and just cut out some of that. Something like this. Before I start arranging, I'm going to add one more atmospheric pad. And so I was going through my samples, and Intimate Noise actually sent me over their Everything bundle. They didn't sponsor this. They didn't ask me to promote their stuff. They just have a lot of really cool packs that are perfect for this type of music. It's very ambient oriented, a lot of just weird kind of textural samples. Oh man, these are just the string samples from one pack, but I felt like this one was perfect for the Silent Hill vibe. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that onto a MIDI track and put it into a simpler. And let's add a little bit of processing to this as well. So I'm just adding a bit of EQ and boosting kind of where all that noise is happening in the sample. Saturation. Another chorus. And some reverb as well. I've had people asking me more for arrangement videos, and arrangement can be a bit messy, at least for me. So I usually cut most of that out because it can be very time consuming. So I'll show you how I kind of get started. So this is my main loop, and I consider this kind of the busiest portion. So maybe like your chorus or your drop, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to hit Control I to insert time and just push this back 16 bars. And maybe I add everything before then, maybe I move it back, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I like to pull things back and then build it that way. So I think the pad is probably the most important part of this track, and it's going to play throughout the entire thing. So I'm going to drag that back and just duplicate that across. And then I think that can play by itself, honestly, for the first 4 bars, and that's fine. I think the drums can come in fairly early too. So I'm going to shift click all of those, hold control and drag them back. And I think maybe an auto filter to kind of sweep up and then drop it into the full version there. So let me open this and grab an auto filter. So let me drop that right on the drum group like that. Put it before the glue compressor. And I'm going to change it to a band pass. Just maybe make it a little bit wider. Something like that. So I'll click on the frequency and come up here to the group and just kind of draw that in. And then, of course, that's going to need to turn off. So we need to automate the on-off as well. So I'll just click on that. And it'll be on here and then off here. So we'll bring these back as well. And this is probably a good place for the melody to come in. So I'll bring that back. And that can probably play for 8 bars just as is. So we'll do that. And then maybe those strings can come in right about here. I think I'm going to change this melody just on the last one to make it just a little bit different. And then maybe let's just have those strings and the drums play. Let's see how that sounds. I'll have everything come back in after that little break, but we need to have some sort of transition. So I'm gonna cut, I think. Let's cut this. Just delete all of this. What we can do with the snare is make like kind of like a fake little delay. I'm just going to select this and then, let's see, duplicate it a couple times. And I don't even think I have the timing right here. Let's see. That one's too early. Okay, something like that. And then even to mimic that delay even more, I'm going to come in and like change the volume so it's getting lower in volume too each time it hits. So take that one down a little bit. Take that one down even further. And then I'm going to cut this and reverse it. I'm going to throw, I think, a beat repeat on the drums for the very end there. So here's what the finished project file looks like. It's pretty much exactly how I just arranged it. I just went through and color coded everything. The only thing I did was I spent a little extra time on that beat repeat section at the end and just bounced it a few times and pasted together a kind of section that I liked. And then, of course, I had to grab the Silent Hill static that plays whenever there's like the monsters nearby. So that is just like the end of the track. So that's pretty much everything that went into making this. Again, if you'd like to pick up the project file, it's on my Ko-fi. If you want to stream it, it's on all the major streaming platforms. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.